Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Wednesday, the 21st of January 2026. Welcome to Morning Brew on Politics Social. I am Graham Hughes. I'll say morning to you all. We've got Lost Missionary in the chat. We've also got El Butterfly Effect, as well as Liz Allen. We've got Diz in there. We've got Philip Crossley. We've got Andy F, and we've got Sarah, and Liebchen is in there as well. We've got Viper Scott, Veg Pie. Hello. If you'd like to join our socialites in the chat here, all you need to do is hit the subscribe button, wait for approximately 1 minute, and you'll be able to join in with the show. So today we're going to be talking about cryptocurrency. We're going to be talking about crypto because it's crap, and I've been saying it's crap for a long time, and it really is fucking crap. It's just the worst. Every time you think it couldn't possibly get any worse, it turns out that it's, propping up the fascist regime in Iran, as well as the fascist regime in Russia and America, and also hoping to prop up the fash here in the UK, that being Nigel Farage. Anyway, so Trump is flying over to Davos at the moment. There's an electrical fault on his plane. Don't get too excited. He had to fly back to Washington. Had to land again. They had to fix the electrical fault, unfortunately. And now he's back on his way. It's going to be an absolute fucking circus. I'll tell you that now. It is going to be an absolute bloody circus. But that's for a little bit down the line today. Obviously, we've got Prime Minister's questions at 12 o'clock. Hopefully, you can join me for that. And then this evening, we will have we'll jump down the rabbit hole together, me and Rach. And we're doing a episode of the rabbit hole where we are going to do the Room 101 thing again, but it's Rachel's turn this time to come up with stuff to throw in Room 101. So that's the agenda for the day. But yeah, let's talk about cryptocurrency. It's not just tech. It's an alternative and unregulated finance system. It is designed implicitly to dodge rules. It rewards opacity. It attracts criminals, grifters, extremists, and fascists. And authoritarians fucking love it, unsurprisingly. You see, crypto exists to solve the wrong problem. Democracies have laws. Democracies have oversight. They can freeze assets. They can enforce sanctions. Crypto exists to make all of that harder. It exists to make the tools of democracy more difficult to implement. That's why it exists. It's run like a fucking casino in which millions of people around the world have been scammed out of everything they own, the shirt off their back. And the few people making the money in these crypto exchanges are making a shitload, an absolute shitload. And, fascists, they absolutely love crypto. They do. There's no way you can disentangle the enmeshing of fascism and cryptocurrencies. It moves money fast. It crosses borders instantly. It hops jurisdictions. It can be routed through layers. It can be cashed out in friendly paces. I have been trying for the last 3 months to send money from my UK bank account to my bank account in Panama. It has taken me 3 months to suss out how the fuck to do it. Numerous attempts on different platforms, even going to my branch here in Durham and sitting down for an hour with an advisor to try and get some money from my account, my proper official bank account in my name, with my photograph and my signature, from my account in the UK over to Panama. Now, I think that cryptocurrency is a fucking scam. I think it is fucking outrageous. But also, what I think is outrageous is that banks around the world are still partying like it's 1979. How can it take that long? How can I transfer money from my account in the UK and it takes 5 days to arrive? I'm not sending it via carrier pigeon. I'm literally sending it electronically. How can it take 5 days to get there? But this is what we're up against, you see, because crypto seems quite attractive to someone who's trying to move their money across the border. You're going to wait 5 days. You're going to make $40. You're going to pay a flat fee of $37.50. Are you going to pay that every time? What if you're transferring $37.50. You're just giving money to the bank. Well, here's the thing. With crypto, it blurs the source. Crypto lunatics, the people who like, they're like fucking Mormons, you know, they're like the Jehovah's Witnesses. They're like going knocking door to door. Please join our pyramid scheme. Join our scam. Can you join our scam, please? You know, and they turn up on Facebook telling people they're going to make loads of fucking money. There's all these dickheads all over YouTube, not just me, but there's other dickheads as well. But there's like crypto dickheads who are like, you know, buy, sell. There's this whole Reddit forums just dedicated to crypto. And the thing is, you know, the shell entities in crypto are fucking easy to set up. Community wallets, they mass control of who actually owns the fucking money. The same money can be used to fund politics, crime, who knows, weapons, the distribution of child abuse images. And sanctions, if we put them on countries like Iran or Russia, they rely on banks, crypto route, to make it easy to go around the entire world banking system. And stablecoins as well. I mean, they're linked to a currency, usually the dollar. That makes it even fucking simpler. Pegged coins behave like digital dollarinos. Just take your money out the country. We can't stop you. And also, the actual community of the crypto bros is foul. It's incredibly misogynistic. It is incredibly fascistic. It is dreaming of a world where the only people in charge are the few that have, you know, magically got the right idea about how to gamble. And let's be very clear about this. Cryptocurrency, it's fucking gambling. It is gambling. It's hoping that you put money into something and then you'll get a bigger return once you take it out. No one's ever going to use it to buy stuff. There's a famous story from like 15 fucking years ago that someone used cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, to buy a pizza. And everyone goes, oh, if they kept that Bitcoin, it'd be worth $5 billion now. Do you think anyone's going to fucking sell the Bitcoin for, trade their Bitcoin for a commodity? No, fucking not. Of course they're not. They're not going to buy a pizza because in 10 years' time, that same amount of Bitcoin could be worth 5 million again. But it's the community based around it is fascistic in its attitude. You might be persuaded that it's anarchistic, like it's all about anarchy, but it's more libertarian than anarchist. But then again, I mean, libertarianism is anarchy for nepo babies. That's it. You might argue with me on that one, but think about it. It's kind of like, well, I could afford to have my own private police force. Why do I need to pay for a state one? I can pay for my parents can pay for my own education. I don't need the state to subsidise. Well, these private schools do get a lot of state subsidies, but that's another fucking story. I can have my own septic tank dug by my team of servants. I don't need to flush toilet. I can get all the water that drops onto my private estate. My 99-acre estate. I will collect the rainwater and bathe in that. I don't need water companies. Why do I need trains? Why do I need buses? I've got a private jet. You know, people who can afford to opt out of society. That's who your libertarians generally are. Or you get some poor libertarians, and fuck me, they're not the brightest sparks, are they? You ever met a poor libertarian living in a fucking shack in a swamp in Alabama, playing a banjo, going, I don't want the government giving me any subsidies. Where you going? Oh, I'm going to get my social security check. Oh, okay. My mum's house was bought using crypto, ... nightmare, says Martin Harrow. I do not envy you. Your mum's house was bought using crypto. Oh my God. You've got me almost feeling sorry for the lawyers in that one. Almost. But yeah, that reminds me, Martin, I need to get my confetti cannon ready. Should we ready the confetti cannon? What day is it today? It's party day. That's what it is. And we shall have confetti. There we go. We'll all have confetti. We'll all have cake. Okay, so yeah, the reason why I'm talking about this today, there's an article in The Guardian, which is about Iran and Tether, which is interesting. You know Tether? Do you know Tether, the crypto currency exchange thing? Yeah, the one that Russia's using to get money out of Russia to evade sanctions. Yeah, Iran's doing that as well. Iran that just butchered, murdered, shot in the face with over 17,000 innocent people on the streets protesting against the government, the authoritarian fascist government of Iran. And yeah, they're getting money. How are they getting money? How are they exchanging money with their fellow authoritarian dictatorship, Russia? Cryptocurrency. And one of the cryptocurrencies they're using is Tether. How does this link to us? Because Tether is owned by a fucker who is currently funding Refuck UK from his I don't know his underage sex abuse orgy in Thailand. So he's over there in Thailand. He's the guy who's given the most amount of money in history. A living person, the most amount of money to a political party in history, and the government's just allowing this to happen. You're just like, well, what? Really? Are you fucking kidding me? You know, he's given. Anyway, so yeah, the idea that we can allow this to continue and we can allow money that has been laundered, so a money launderer living, privately educated, of course, living in Thailand with a Thai passport, and he's given money to a British fascist party like Refash. The Iran's central bank is using Tether. It's not a few bad actors. This is the strategic use of cryptocurrencies at scale. And stablecoin sanctions stablecoin destroys sanctions. You know, it sends them into a speed bump. You know, if that. And it's a national security nightmare. And I don't think anyone's taking this very seriously. I don't see too much discussion about this on LBC or on the news. The fact that criminals and fascists all over the world, I can't believe how easy it is to move money around now that everything's digital. But also, they're giving an extra bump with it all being crypto. You see, because the thing is, money is heavy. You know, like if you want to move $40 million and it's in dollars, right? Maybe it's $100 bills, but it's still a lot of stuff. You still got to organize that. You still got to get a few pallets and organize a shipping container and a forklift for actual physical money. But for pressing a button and suddenly 40 million goes from one account into another. It's easy, isn't it? And yeah, if a sanctioned central bank like the Bank of Iran using this stablecoin, using Tether as a way of stockpiling dollar-pegged crypto, then any kind of sanctions, they lose their bite. And then you've got gobshites like Trump, obviously, but in our country, Farage, he is a cheerleader. He is a cheerleader for these sanction-evading Bitcoin stablecoins. You know, he champions them. He fucking champions them. He's pushed the idea of London as a crypto hub. Like London's not like the fucking money laundering capital of the world as it is. He frames regulation as anti-innovation. Again, let's be very clear. Libertarians, it's anarchy. Anarchy. Libertarianism is anarchy for nepo babies. He sells this as modern finance, but actually, in reality, it's evasion. It's evading all scrutiny and allowing criminals to run fucking riots. You know, you wouldn't have to do the Italian job. Do you know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't have to load up some cars with fucking gold, some minis, and drive them around Turin. You wouldn't need to do that. But why would you? Because you could just easily just press a button and the money goes across. And no government in the world can stop you. And what is happening now is Nigel Farage is openly lobbying for the plumbing of dirty fucking money through our country. And we got this, the fact that the historic fucking size check that was given to Refuck, £9 million, fuck's sake. Warping democracy via Tether. The donor's linked to Tether. He owns like 12% of the platform or whatever it's called. The demand for things like Tether include these grey or even black uses. And so the incentive is fucking perverse. Why would you want a world that doesn't have authoritarian dictators? Why would you want a world where Russia isn't going to war with its neighbors or Iran isn't shooting innocent protesters in the streets? Why would you want that world when it's actually profitable for you? Because the more sanctions we put on official money moving from country to country, bank to bank, person to person, the more rogue states like Russia and like Iran are going to use cryptocurrencies and stablecoin. And this is where, there's another factor to this, is that crypto is funding propaganda, influence ops, brainwashing fucking tools from the Russians, using platforms like Rumble, which positions itself as an alternative to YouTube. It hosted Russian state broadcasters when others blocked them. It became part of Trump's alternative media ecosystem. People who have been kicked off the mainstream platforms for being sex offenders, allegedly, like Russell Brand, they go over to Rumble. And US prosecutors recently exposed Tenant Media over in Canada as a covert Kremlin influence operation. And the allegation included hidden Russian government messaging, the same sort of shit that Nathan Gill went down for last month for 10.5 years. And the digital footprint included major right-wing channels and networks. And Tether announced a large strategic investment into, you're going to guess it, Rumble. This platform, it's like an alternative YouTube. It's being co-funded by Tether, which has been set up in order to allow fascists and oligarchs like Vladimir Putin and the Ayatollah Khomeini to move money around or stockpile dollars, stablecoin dollars. The structure includes the tender offer for in existing investors, and it ties a stablecoin giant to the propaganda platform's fortunes and creates this ecosystem where crypto money feeds free speech platforms and free speech platforms promote fucking crypto. Crypto doesn't just fund politics, it funds the media propaganda machine that manufactures consent for authoritarianism. And we're seeing it. We're seeing it in this fucking country. Oh my God, have you heard the people calling into LBC to try and justify what Trump has been saying about our ally, Greenland, our NATO ally? It's part of NATO. And they're like, oh, you should take it. Yeah, we should take it. Yeah, it's a good thing to do that. He needs it. Why does he need it? He said he needed it. I'll tell you now, those motherfuckers ringing up LBC to say, oh, you should give this toddler everything he fucking wants. I bet they were terrible parents. I bet they were the worst fucking parents ever. I bet they didn't give their kids anything. I bet they really, really traumatized their kids growing up. But then Donald Trump comes along, a big baby, and they're like, oh, you got to give him what he wants. Got to give him what he wants. George only has been a member for 28 months. Criminals and fash, all authoritarians are two cheeks of the same arse. Recent history proves this, and they don't care about the hypocrisy. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. Do you know what they tap into, George Dawes? And thank you for being a member for 28 months. You are the best. But yeah, they tap into this weird thing that humans do, is that they have respect for gangsters. And I'm not going to blame Francis Ford Coppola or Martin Scorsese at this point. But I mean, Hollywood glamorizes gangsters to such a degree. I think the Sopranos glamorized it a bit, but they did come across as a bit incompetent. They're a bit don't know what they're doing, which was kind of good. But like most of the time, you saw Tony Soprano just hanging out in his fucking dressing gown and his underwear. But when you watch sort of Goodfellas or Casino, and everyone's walking around with these sharp suits and they've got all this money and they're real men. They're real men because they go around punching people and killing them because that's what a real man does. And people find respect in that. They go, oh, you got to respect the ruthlessness. In the same way that the Krays were praised in the East End in the 1960s, so much so that Monty Python did this hilarious sketch, and if you've never seen it, it's one of the best, in which they make up these gangsters called the Deadly Piranha Brothers, and they talk about they do like a rip off of Panorama or something where they sort of do a documentary about these gangsters, and everyone's just like, oh, he's brilliant, love them. They were the nicest people ever. They always said hello to their mom, and they always, one time, he used to come round and nail me head to this table. But one time I said, look, I've got my mother-in-law coming round. Would you mind not nailing me head to the table today? And you know what? They went, all right, because they were gentlemen, So they just took me for a drag around the block at the back of the car. Do you know what I mean? It's like, God, I wouldn't have a bad word to say against them, says a grave. And it's that kind of like mentality where people sort of warm towards criminals. And I think it's the same sort of impulse that drives certain people to write love letters to serial killers in jail and fall in love with a serial killer after becoming fascinated, engrossed in the disgusting crimes that they have committed. Jimmy Anderson, bowling genius, just goes, Dinsdale. The words of Spiny Norman. Not my words, Lynn, but the words of Spiny Norman. Giant hedgehog. If you haven't seen this sketch and you know nothing about what I'm talking about, I'm sorry if I'm losing you here. But the point I'm trying to make is there is a certain element in society, and I think we all might be slightly guilty of it when we watch these movies and we go, wow, they really certainly showed them a thing or two. Or they'll do a thing like in Goodfellas. The Joe Pesci character is obviously worse than the others. I mean, but they're all criminals. But because Joe Pesci's just a fucking psychopath, you go, well, he's the baddie. No, they're all baddies. This ain't half bad. No, it's all bad. But yes. So yeah, we're talking about stablecoin today. In particular, we're talking about crypto, which is, first of all, it sounds safe, doesn't it? Stablecoin and pegged to the dollar. It sounds boring, but it because it is pegged to the dollar, it behaves like offshore cash and it moves like an app, and it becomes a settlement layer for criminals, gangsters, regimes, authoritarians around the world, and this is having a demonstrable effect on our democracies. And you can see this. You can see this in America going on right now in its open descent into authoritarianism, in which a culture which some people want to import here. Like anyone who votes for refuck wants ICE here, because that's one of refuck's policies, They want to have ICE. They want to be going door to door, knocking on doors, asking to see people's papers. And if anyone gets in their way, like, I don't know, a mother of three, they will shoot her in the face. They'll be armed. Guarantee it. We won't, because we don't have guns. I mean, they have guns in America. Fat load of good is doing them. I've always said that. I've hated the argument that Yanks give, which is like, I need my gun in case the government becomes tyrannical. I'm like, you got a tyrannical government? But, these people think that having to wear a mask during a pandemic is tyranny. They think that a mother of three being shot in the face in broad daylight by an officer calling her a fucking bitch, that's just, she didn't do what she was told. That's just her just desserts. I don't want to import that over here. And I think that if you do have anyone in your life, especially any women in your life who think that refuck are the answer, just maybe show them the footage of Rene Good being shot and saying, is this the future you want for us as well? Is this the terror going door to door, knocking door to door? There's a story yesterday that I saw. Penn University, the government, the Trump administration, wants a list of all the Jewish students and the Jewish teachers in that school, in that university. That's happening. That is fucking happening. I'm not making that up. That is genuinely happening. To protect them, apparently. Yeah, you know when they started building the concentration camps, they sold them as holiday camps. They did. They made videos like it was going to be like Pontins, like it was going to be Butlins. It was going to be a fun camp for people to go to. They made films. I'm not making that up either. It's the way it starts. And then we've got the fact that the US model of crushing democracy is infecting the UK and the EU. I'm going to come into this, but we need to take a fucking united stand against this. Crypto lobbying buys policy, as we're seeing from the crypto billionaire over in Thailand, who's given all this money to Nigel Farage's latest outfit. Crypto donations are buying parties. Crypto narratives, they suck up young people. Because one of the things about crypto, there's a certain mindset. It's tied to perhaps slightly religiosity, but mostly like conspiracy mindedness. And what it is, it's the secret information arrogance. And what it does is you give someone some secret information. You give them a secret that nobody else knows and no one else can possibly understand. It can be a bit of information or it can be how something works. And you give them that little bit of secret information, right? And you go run with it. And it gives people this huge boost. It gives them an ego boost because even though things might not be turning out the way they wanted in their lives, they have this bit of secret information. The world is flat. Man did not land on the moon. Princess Diana was assassinated because reasons. And cryptocurrency is kind of tied into that. If you ever look in these crypto forums, they use a lot of lingo, exclusionary lingo, to talk about stuff, which is common in different groups around the world. If you ever work on a movie set, you know that the people doing the lighting have literally their own fucking language. If you ever spent any time on a boat, you'll know that they have their own fucking word for everything. Like nothing is called what it is. It's not a rope, it's a sheet. It's not a toilet, it's a head. It's not. Yeah. So the upper class use this all the time. They have a secret language that they use to communicate that makes them feel smarter, makes them feel better, makes them feel superior to everybody else. And that drive for the idea of superiority, cryptocurrency it is like it's a magnet for people who might actually be a little, not feeling great about themselves. Let's put it that way. And I'm not demonizing people who fall for these scams, but it's this idea of like, you're the only person who knows how it really works. Because it's dead complex, but you're the only one who knows how it really works. Yeah, money line goes up, yeah, it's the same with commodity traders. What I liked about the movie Trading Places, it kind of blew the lid off the whole mystique of the New York Stock Exchange because they were talking about trading pork bellies and eggs and corn. It didn't seem that sexy when you were down on the. I mean, you'll have movies like Wall Street and like the Wolf of Wall Street as well, where they try and make it look dead sexy, but actually it just looked like a bunch of old men, gambling with other people's money. Yeah, sexy. I love it when they like movies and stuff where they try and make casinos look classy. You ever been in a classy casino? I haven't. And I've been in casinos. I've been to Las Vegas. I've been to Macau. I've been to casinos in all over the world. In fact, I've been to ones in Melbourne. And the thing is, the joke here is I don't gamble, like not in a casino, because I know you're never going to win. You're never going to win. So, go in, get some free drinks, pretend I'm gambling when I'm not. But that works really tacky. It's like an AI generated imitation of class, of aesthetics, and it's no surprise that Trump has done out the White House like some tawdry casino, because that's what he knows. That's the aesthetics that he likes. It's proper sort of trailer trash, golden baubles. It's so fucking tacky, so gaudy. It's such fucking trash. But yeah, going back to the whole sort of idea of these cryptocurrencies attracting young people, because it's gambling and people. So you get a dopamine hit from having the secret knowledge that no one else knows, no one else can understand. You're very clever, aren't you? Very clever because you understand. And we're all guilty of this. We're all guilty of this to some lesser or greater extent. You know, we're all chasing dopamine hits at the end of the day. It's not just us ADHDers, it's everyone. If you know a lot about a particular subject, whether it's Lord of the Rings or whether it's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy or whether it's Love Island, you have knowledge. And it's kind of a kick when someone asks you, hey, you got no knowledge about it? Yeah, I've got knowledge about that. But then crypto taps into the dopamine hit of gambling as well. It taps into that whole thing of like, oh, I've made money. I didn't have to do anything and I made money. Someone can work for a day and get 40 quid for working for the day. Super chats are open, by the way. And be like, okay, 40 quid, that's pretty good today. But if you win 40 quid, you'll be on cloud nine all week. Even that's the same amount of money. But the fact that you won it, wow, that's fucking brilliant. Because it's not just about the money. It's about winning. It's about something good happening to you and the dopamine hit that you get from it. But yeah, crypto narratives amongst young people, it's not just the kick that they get from trading and then winning money sometimes. I mean, most people lose. You are gambling. But it falls into this idea that being anti-state is fashionable. And being anti-state means that you are, at heart, against democracy. Because democracy's got to put safeguards in place to ensure that criminals don't rule the roost. Because otherwise we end up with Donald Trump being president again and declaring war on the world because he's a tit and he's demented and he doesn't know what the fuck is going on. But yeah, institutions are portrayed as illegitimate to people. And so the Bank of England, the government setting fiscal monetary policy is seen as illegitimate. Taxation is seen as illegitimate to a certain group of people. I have no problem paying my tax. I did it last week because I had to by the end of the month. Off it went to HMRC Cumberland. Anyway, they don't want to pay tax. They don't see the state as legitimate. They want everything to be privatized. But unfortunately, I'm not saying that we should nationalize everything because that way madness lies. But when you have a natural monopoly, like the trains, like the water, I think it should be nationalized. I think that's the best way to do it. Absolutely. But for years and years, the Tories, who are proto-fascists, they always have been, have moved everything that was once run by the state into the private sector. And the biggest move of all, which has fucked over entire generations now, is the movement of state housing into the private sector. So that now, when the government gives you money to subsidy for your earnings, that money goes to a private landlord to pay off their second mortgage. What? Sorry, some of my tax money is going to pay someone who's already rich. Yeah. Hey, Graham, some of your tax money goes to pay state pensions to billionaires. Sorry, what? And are they the same old people who keep going on about how people on Benefit Street should be checked at every opportunity? And if they're overpaid £59, we have to make a big thing of it. Yeah, that okay. And the crypto makes it very, very easy for corrupt actors, for corrupt states, corrupt authoritarian strongmen, and criminals to move money from one place to another. We need to ban it. And I'm not being any, I'm not going to pussyfoot around here. It needs to be fucking banned in the EU and the UK. We first of all need to ban retail crypto promotion. We need to ban political donations in crypto. In fact, we need to ban political donations completely. It's a fucking disgrace that Labour have allowed refuck to take £9 million of someone who doesn't even fucking live here in order to deliver their flavour of Trumpian authoritarianism into this country. We need to ban stablecoin issuance without full regulation, ban exchange that cannot provide clean flows. We need to ban anonymous mixers and services that obscure where the money's coming from, where it's going to. We need to ban advertising that targets vulnerable people in the same way that vulnerable people shouldn't be targeted with gambling ads. In fact, I would ban all gambling ads and just include cryptocurrency as gambling and stablecoin. I mean, look, you can still support innovation. I mean, you can still pay for things digitally, but we need, and if you do want to get into fintech, okay, but it all needs to be regulated, strictly regulated, like big fucking jail sentences for people who create these coins, create these mechanisms, these exchanges that allow the exchange of this currency or this money, this Bitcoin, whatever it is, without any oversight, without us knowing who it's coming from or where it's going to. You know, we need to make it, if we have a law against money laundering, right, because we do, we need to make sure that law works for all forms of money. And so, yeah, I like I say, the UK needs to prohibit crypto donations. That they need to parties, to candidates. We need to treat stablecoin like banks. You know, stablecoin issuers like banks. We need to require full reserve transparency and real-time auditability, which is something that we can do. You know, we can audit this stuff in real time because it's all digital. It's not the old days of putting some used fivers in a paper envelope and stuffing it around the back of the radiator in the gents' toilets in King's Cross Station. You know, we need to give regulators the power to freeze and block these exchanges when money's being exchanged, and we need to force the exchanges that buy and sell this stuff to delist non-compliant tokens, and we need to criminalize platforms that facilitate sanctions evasion for places like Iran and Russia. Like, why are we fighting with one hand behind our back against the Russian government? Right? We're fighting them. They're attacking Europe. They're attacking our continent. We are putting billions of pounds of our money into the defense of Europe. And meanwhile, you know, while we're giving one hand to Ukraine, with the other hand, we're giving money to fucking Vladimir Putin. Or at least not stepping in to stop him getting money. So yeah, the EU needs to expand enforcement across non-compliant platforms, and also needs to, you know, treat stablecoins, like I said, as systemic financial products, and tighten up the rules on issuance, on custody, coordinate sanction enforcement across member states and with the UK, and they need to treat sanctions as a primary, you know, crypto risk. And to those out there who will say, and I know there'll be some probably who hate what I'm saying this morning and be like, you know, crypto is freedom. I'm like, freedom from whom? Freedom from what? It's freedom from oversight, and it's freedom for predators. It's freedom for authoritarian, fascist criminals around the world. That's who you're giving freedom to. You're not giving freedom to the old grand down the road who's living under essential house arrest because there's no fucking public transport around these parts. You know, so she has to stay in the house every fucking day. You know, that's not it. And the idea that, you know, criminals use cash too. And it's like, yeah, but cash doesn't scale globally in seconds. Like I said, if you're gonna send millions of dollars in dollars, that's a weight, you know. That's a lot of stuff that you've got to physically move from one part of the world to another. And cash doesn't root around sanctions like this. It doesn't come with a political ideology baked into it, which is paying, you know, in the way that, you know, people aren't telling me, you know, you want to invest in cash, Graham, get cash. You know, there's no pyramid scheme built around cash. You know, hey, I'll give you some cash and you get some other people to give you cash, and then we'll have a pyramid scheme. I don't think it works that way. And you know, regulation is step one, and it cannot be controlled. Fucking ban it. You know, go the whole hog. And you know, people go, well, what about dissidents who need fucking money to fight against the system? I'm like, well, if you set up a system that is giving a 10 times multiplier on the people who are killing the dissidents over what the dissidents are getting, let's just you know, build legal channels for aid. Should we do that? You know, build protected banking corridors for aid? Yeah, okay, cool. When you got a 10-to-1 scale it of people who are evil getting this fucking money to do evil things, like shooting tens of thousands of protesters, like what happened in Iran last week, you know, versus the people who are getting shot, No, I'm sorry, but come up with another idea. Do not use. We do not need to keep a global laundering machine alive for these the edge cases who are if we leave the system in place, they're still losing out. Crypto is not a quirky hobby. It's a parallel economy for the worst people on earth. It fuels propaganda. It fuels corruption. It funds sanction, evasion. It accelerates authoritarianism. And if we want democracy to survive, crypto has to go. Because I see it as an anathema to democracy. Crypto props up authoritarian regimes around the world in a way that, look at what's happening in Argentina under Milei, absolutely destroying the society in Argentina, and he's fucked the economy. But what does Trump do? He sent all this money over to him. I mean, to be fair, that was cash. He sent over all this cash. But yeah, here we are. Anyway, so that's what I want to say about that. Anyway, where are we talking? Subscription fee for civilization, says tax. Yeah. Sorry, talking about tax, says Andy. Colin, bet we can guess. Crypto isn't in real money. I mean, it's based on real money, but rarely does enough to say one Bitcoin is worth 100,000. Just guessing. I know, but it's turning the world's global financial system into a casino. What happened last time we did that? The global credit crunch in 2008. So that happened. I always thought cryptocurrency was like a puzzle you had to solve in order to win cash. It wasn't too far off, to be honest with you. Very good. So yeah, we'll go over to the papers now, if you do not mind, because don't forget, we have got Prime Minister's questions at 12, so we need to jog on. But since we're not getting any super chats in, I'm gonna start another goal. Oh, hang on, I can't. This is really annoying, right? So you click on the super chat, right, and you got to remove the goal. There you go. That's it. So I know you can't see what I'm doing. I'll just talk you through it. Start another goal. I'm just going to change to 5 super chats. So you get a little bit in. If anyone's got a few quid to throw towards us to get Diz what Diz wants. What Diz wants, Diz gets. But yeah, I'm going to just check before we go over to the papers. I'm just going to check how things are getting on. Trump, Europe prepared to act with urgency over Greenland. EU chief says as Trump to meet world leaders. Europe is fully prepared to act if necessary over Trump's Greenland tariffs threat. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen says at Davos. And French President Macron, sporting very cool sunglasses for, I think he's got conjunctivitis or something. The EU could consider a series of trade retaliatory options, including a trade bazooka. Hey, listen, if you honestly, if you want to listen to something after this, right, please check out Mark Carney's speech yesterday. It was fucking phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal. Miss Paula Thomas, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Crypto is privatized money with the worst features of privatized monopoly. You're absolutely right. It's awful. It's absolutely fucking awful. The problem is, right, just to go back to this before we go over to the papers, the government don't know what they're fucking doing because it's full of Gen Xers and fucking dickheads who don't know what it is and how it works. And they're like, oh, it's not a priority. It should be a fucking priority. It should be a priority. So, yeah, I'm just having a look to see if anything's happened today. No. According to the BBC, nothing has happened. Nothing has happened. Just doing that thing where they go, it's live updates, and they just keep putting pictures up, news stories up from yesterday. So yeah, Trump's flying in on Air Force One amid Greenland standoff. I mean, I can just about squint and imagine like Americans going with this and saying, yeah, we need Greenland for America, whatever. But British people going along with this, fucking traitors. Fucking traitors. Backstabbing, traitorous fucking gobshites. You know, get them in the fucking stocks. Get them in the fucking Tower of London. Jesus fuck. Anyway, so I'm going to head over to the papers, as promised. Here they are. This ends now, says the Mirror. Moment Brooklyn snaps. Okay. Phil Collins is 75. God, that doesn't make you feel old. Nothing will. Then we've got some guy from the house down the road. So you've got two families here, both alike in dignity, in Fair Verona, where we lay our scene. But you got one called the Beckhams and the other one called the Windsors. And they're like these functional soap opera families. They're not real people, I don't think. I don't think we'd be so obsessed with them if they were real. And they have like falling out. And it's great because it's like, you get to have all the fun of, like, you know, when you fall out with someone, but none of the heartache. How good is that? So, yeah, fix your country, Trump tells Starmer. Hey, go fuck yourself. That's a little message there from the whole of the UK to Donald Trump. And all local elections should not be scrapped. US warning after China embassy approval, and Nandi to investigate Mail's Telegraph bid. Over here, we've got the Times. We've got a woman from the family. So there's a guy from the family. He's having a pint. There's a woman for her family. She's just taking a dump or something. I don't know what she's doing, but that's on the front cover because, you know, nothing more important going on in the world. And MI5 will move sensitive cables away from China embassy spies. So there you go. So, you know, the cables are going to be moved to allow for the embassy. That's it. In London. SG's got some info for me. Air Force One, more like. Air Fash One. Had to turn around after 20 minutes after takeoff. Apparently there was an electrical fault, but while there was hope that big, beautiful day had arrived. We live in hope. Bex bites back. Some guy from the other family. That's the Beckhams, not the Windsors. He's biting back. And then we've got RAF and Navy in talks to join NATO force in Arctic. That's a front cover of the iPaper there. Cheap heat pumps for UK homes in new green energy offer. And Bear Grylls, he lost his dad. That's sad. And then we've got the Daily Mail here with Posh and Nicola Peltz, whoever the fuck that is. They're there. And then we've got this tiny little bit at the bottom after we've talked about this family that lives down the road. We've got MI5 warning to kowtow Tia as PM gives China the go-ahead for super embassy. Security services says it can't eliminate the risks. Yeah, it said it can't eliminate all the risks, but the security services have signed off on it. Like, they're making out like the government didn't consult with MI5 and MI6 before allowing the Chinese to put this super embassy in what was the Royal Mint. They did consult. They did consult the security services, and they went, yep. Can we guarantee that nothing bad will ever happen again in the future? No, we can't. This is how they do it. PM out of his depth in the New World Order, says Kemi Badenoch, which is, Kemi Badenoch will be out of her depth in a fucking battling pool. Kemi Badenoch, who cannot raise a fucking decent line against Keir fucking Starmer. Keir Starmer. Like, seriously, this guy, she can't take him down at Prime Minister's questions, no matter how much ammunition you give her. She cannot lay a single blow on Keir fucking Starmer. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Kemi? Fucking hell. If you say so. Online rant stuns world, and we don't mean the Beckhams. There you go. Shockingly, our brilliant NATO ally, the United Kingdom, is currently planning to give away the island of Diego Garcia. No, they're not. They're literally not doing that. They're not giving it away. You see, Trump doesn't understand anything, right? So let's have a little bit of a geography lesson, okay? There are these islands called the British Overseas Indian Territories, right? They have their own flag, with a little UK flag in the middle, and on the corner of them, like the flags of Tuvalu and New Zealand and Fiji and Australia. They have a little UK flag in the corner, right? And they're a group of islands, not just one, a group of islands. And one of the ones in the south, I think it might be the most southerly one, is called Diego Garcia. And on there is a military base that we have access to for the next 100 years or whatever the lease is up. And it is a base where the US and the UK can launch from. And we have total use of it. This is like us saying to America, what's with Guantanamo Bay? Like, why have you just got this little bit of Cuba? Why don't you have all of Cuba? I don't want to give Trump ideas, but like, why don't you have all of Cuba? Why have you just got this little base in Guantanamo Bay and you're surrounded by people who fucking hate you? That doesn't make no sense. It's just the way the world fucking ended up. Why have we got 2 fucking British bases in Cyprus? Why? I don't know. Why don't we take over the whole of Cyprus? We don't need to. It's fine. We have a deal. Like, you've got a deal with Cuba and we've got a deal with Cyprus. That's our territory. And we can run bases. But whatever. Jesus Christ. The stupid. It burns. Europe condemns Trump threats on Greenland as new colonialism, which it absolutely is. China gets approval for vast embassy in London. Jailed nurse Let B will face no new charges. She's already facing 15 life sentences, so I don't think it would make much of a difference at the moment. And then we've got the Independent here, which I'll bring up in a moment after the adverts appear. Go on. You know you want to. See, I'm gonna take you over that, and then adverts are going to appear. Oh, for God's sake! All right, let's do it. David Beckham on explosive feud with Brooklyn. Let children make mistakes. All right. Macron takes aim at bully Trump. Doesn't he look cool? Doesn't he look fucking cool? Wish I looked like that cool when I had conjunctivitis. French leader calls for rule of law over brutality in thinly veiled swipe from Davos, hours after US president launches yet another attack on NATO allies with a rant against Keir Starmer's Chagos deal. Unfucking-leavable. It's the Chagos Islands, and one of those islands is Diego Garcia, and we still have access to it. In the same, the argument about taking over Greenland. Why do you want to take over Greenland? Because the tech bros want him to take over Greenland. The tech bros, all based on a bubble of cryptocurrencies and AI. AI, fucking Clippy. Do you remember how annoying Clippy was? Do you remember Windows XP with Clippy? And he said, it looks like you're going to write a letter. Would you like some help? No, Clippy, fuck off, because you're shit, and you get everything wrong, Clippy. You get everything fucking wrong. You take all the information I give you, and you fuck it up. You concentrate on things that aren't important. And you try and make a picture, and it just looks shit. And all AI fucking art looks the fucking same. The same cartoon style. You can spot AI cartoon style a fucking mile away, and it looks shit, because we're used to it now. But whatever. Clippy's the way of the future. We're gonna add it to everything. We're gonna add it to everything. We're gonna add it to, every single app has now got a fucking AI assistant on it. Like, what do you need? Like, now when you're on WhatsApp, right? It goes. I'm gonna be, can you get dinner ready? And it gives you an option to reply. It goes, oh, okay. Oh, thanks for that. I wouldn't have known what to write. Does it give a funny answer that you may not have thought of? Like, well, when I've finished with your dad, I'll get on to that, love. Something that I would actually write. No, that doesn't give me that option because it doesn't know me. It's a pale imitation. A bad cover version of life is not the real thing. The bikini-clad girl on the front invited you in. Anyway, Viper Scott, thank you very much. Driving away from my pulp lyrics to get the new goal started for Diz's Fix. Thank you, Viper Scott. I appreciate that. Non-urgent news, Chrissy. Trump likely to be 3 hours late to Davos. Oh well, never mind. When he was an hour late, turning up to his own fucking press conference yesterday. God, that was just fucking. I mean, that was just fucking nuts, wasn't it? His fucking press conference. It's just fucking bonkers. Yesterday, he turns up with this. He's been given this folder, and it's got all these things in it, and he's trying to go through the folder and find things that he's done. Oh God, it was painful. He's clearly very ill, but not ill enough. Yeah, Jesus. Ernie says he's just a dumb motherfucker, but he's the epitome of Dunning-Kruger, to be too moronic to know how moronic he is. And he thinks everyone else is stupid. Yes. We did have the whole of Cyprus. That's why the electric is proper, says Andy. So they got proper plugs and they drive on the left. I know. I have it. Macron has some Hoffman lenses and you can see what Trump really is. Ooh, yes. Oh, yes. We definitely got some They Live vibes going on here. I like that. There's Macron there. He's here to kick ass and chew bubblegum. And he's all out of bubblegum. Rift with Europe deepens as Trump warns, piss off, as Trump warns no going back on Greenland. US leader firm on seizure. US leader firm on seizure? I wish you'd have a fucking seizure. Hostility rattles investors. UK comes under fire. Prospect of Davos talks. And again, I know we use this site, Tomorrow's Papers. Why do you use the site Tomorrow's Papers, Graham, when the quality of the image is just so low res? Well, my friend, thank you for asking. It's because if I use the BBC roundup of the papers, they include the Sun. Whereas the lovely people at tomorrowspapers.co.uk do never include the Sun newspaper. I don't want to see what is on the front cover of the Sun. I don't give a fuck. I don't want that to be on my channel ever because I fucking hate it. Fun times. We've got GSK places 1.9 billion bet on biotech's food allergy drug. Ooh, a food allergy drug. That sounds good. Farage fosters UAE links. Nigel Farage gushing. I can't really read it. Is gushing for a meeting with Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, president of the United Arab Emirates, as he seeks to forge ties with leading Middle East figures. Well, it doesn't surprise me because he wants to bring Sharia law to the UK. That's what he wants to do. Musk has a dig at Ryanair. If you go to the Ryanair site at the moment, it's fucking hilarious. They're taking the piss out of Musk. Something rotten. There's actually an idiot flight offer for Elon Musk and other idiots on their website as we speak. Zurich eyes Lloyd's spot. Moves. What's this? The Swiss insurer is preparing to launch its first syndicate in London, in the London market within weeks. It's really hard to read this. It's like just the shapes of the letters are just about there. The standard is moving. So move the standard, and then there's an alarm about AI. This is Nadella, I think. It sounds AI alarm. Microsoft chief warns that AI risks are becoming speculative bubbles. Unless something tells me I can't read it. Sorry. This isn't just me being old. It's just really fucking low res. Towards Confetti, thank you very much to Veg Pie for the £2 super chat. Very kind of you. Blah 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 blah. CW, £5 super chat. Thank you. The AI assist in WhatsApp is to teach how to deceive other people better. It's a worrying development, in my opinion. For Diz, for the watch. Had this been an actual Trump speech, you would have been instructed where to tune in for news and other information. This concludes the test of the emergency alert system. Elon giving Ryanair free publicity is hilarious, though. It is genuinely hilarious. But yeah, just Jesus. It is. What a time to be alive. Do you want to see this? I'm going to show you this. This is Ryanair's big idiot seat sale. What the fuck? Only available for Elon Musk and other idiots on X. Book today before Musk gets one. They're just coming to town on him because he said he was going to take it over and put someone called Ryan in charge, and just whatever. What a fucking dickhead. Anyway, let's get rid of that. Okay. So yeah, we'll wrap up the papers with the final two stories here. We've got China wins go-ahead for vast embassy after spy chiefs declare risk mitigated. Like, not eradicated, because you can never eradicate all risk. But yeah, talk about making anyway. And then we've got Elon Musk there looking like a big ugly twat. Tech titans swell fortune after year at Trump's side. Well, yeah, they've made an absolute fucking killing in more ways than one, because many people have died. Many Bothans died to bring us this information. Yeah, many Botswanans died to give Elon Musk that much fucking money. May the 4th be with you, Mike, says L. Bit confusing, but there you go. Nanu, as I say, being a big Jedi Knight. We've also got who else? Not the real Mike. The real Mike Dix. He's taller with a hat. He is. Mike says, "Good evening to you, sir. To you. Right, so we're gonna hang around for a few more minutes. Right, I know this is gonna be a shorter show today because we've got 5 minutes PMQs. But yeah, I'm gonna read a few more messages and hope against hope that maybe if one thing leads to another, we could end up with some confetti for Diz. Okay, for Diz, obviously. My cat would make a better president, says Andy, and she can't work out how the patio window works. I don't think Trump can either. By the way, Hillsborough Act third reading delayed, says Paulie Donkey. Yeah, this is. It will go through. Labour's kind of staked their stall out on this going through, and if it doesn't go through, Labour's going to lose Liverpool. Like in the next election, Labour's going to just fucking lose Liverpool if they don't do this. There is serious questions to be asked about how we deal with this duty of candor when it comes to secret operations by our intelligence services. There are ways around it. Like you could have, for instance, as we discussed on Friday with Phil, you could have closed courts where the information is given to a judge and nobody else, and that's fed into the case. There are going to be certain circumstances where if there's an ongoing operation that's going to be compromised by people using the duty of candor, then being forced to, be candorous. Candorous? Is that even a fucking word? I don't know. Yeah. So unfortunately, it is a little bit more complicated than I would like it to be. I wish this wasn't the case. I genuinely wish this wasn't the case. I wish we could just get on with it and get this law onto the books. It would make people feel a lot better. It'll make people feel like at least something good came from the absolute tragedy that was Hillsborough, in which 97 people were killed eventually. In April 1989. And I feel like at the same time that I want this to go through as quickly as possible, they do need to get it right. They need to make sure that they get all their MPs on side and say, okay, this is fair, this is reasonable. And it does need to be some measure of protection in exceptional circumstances. I think that needs to happen. I don't know. Look, I don't know enough about it to say that this is what they should do or what they shouldn't do. But I just get the impression that they've hit this stumbling block. Someone's put the hand up. Some annoying twat like me has put the hand up and said, well, what about if there's an ongoing security operation going on? Like you've got someone embedded in with terrorists, like a group of terrorists or I don't know, Russians, and the operational safety of that particular ongoing operation relies on people not going, sitting there in front of a select committee and saying what's going on, So yeah, to the world. Saz, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. That's very kind of you. And Jez Hunt has got a £2 super chat as well. Get Etsy witches to hex Trump, everyone. Thank you very much. And that does mean that we've got, finally, our confetti. Confetti. Chills. It's very cool. I remember seeing the Hillsborough incident on TV as it unfolded live. Because it was an FA Cup match, wasn't it? But surely they should have got this ironed out before they presented the bill. Chris, I'm not going to argue, mate. I mean, Labour have just kept doing this. They keep announcing, they keep saying, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. I mean, in their defense, in this case, right, the whole point of having a debating chamber is because we didn't want royal proclamations a la Trump. We didn't want executive fucking orders. We didn't want papal bulls going out and telling everyone what to do without actually having a discussion about it. So there is a discussion. It goes back and forth between the select committees and the House of Commons, House of Lords, and people go, put the hand up and go, what about this? Have you thought about this? What if this particular circumstance happens? So, I mean, yeah, I get it. I suppose that this is more acceptable to me, that there is a discussion going on and the Hillsborough Law is not going to be abandoned by any stretch of the imagination, but they are delaying it so they can get it right. Okay, whatever. My bigger problem with Labour is they keep announcing stuff and then backtracking on it afterwards and then U-turning, and it just makes them look fucking incompetent. My brain is pudding, so I'm going to toddle off. Be kind. See you at PMQs, peeps and pipettes. Oh, thank you very much, Gallifreyan, for spending a little bit of time with us this morning. Also, the reward system, says Paul, in the brain nucleus accumbens, what's that? Can play a part in addiction, which includes drugs, gambling, and I think people get a hit and the thrill from ripping money off people. Yeah, they do. Like I said, it's like multi-millionaire Winona Ryder going into a shop and robbing stuff that she can easily pay, she can easily afford. Don't announce something unless you have everything ironed out, thought of everything, and come up with solutions for everything. Pretty much. I mean, there's always going to be a few things that get nipped in the bud along the way, but the whole point of having a debating chamber is to debate the merits of a particular bill, and I don't believe in throwing the baby out with the bathwater just because there is a small issue that we have with this particular bill. I don't think it means we should stop doing what we're doing. Although it is really pissing me off that the fact that it does look like ironically, the euthanasia bill is going to be euthanized in the House of Lords. Like, fuck off. 5 fucking lords have held it up by putting in thousands of amendments. Little tricksy bastards. What are we going to do? We're going to play a little prank on people. It's fucking disgusting. My threat to invade the Isle of Wight worked. I'm still going to do it, though, so I can rename it the Isle of Dicks. Oh, that sounds good. That sounds like a good name for a nightclub. It's like Labour do not think things through first, as Mr. Tusk. They have made a bit of a pig's ear of it, haven't they? All being told, but then I think that the best thing Labour can do right now is load up all of their sins, load them all up on the scapegoat that is Keir Starmer, and then once he's fully laden, cast him out into the wilderness, and all your sins will be forgiven. And when Andy Burnham is the new leader of the Labour Party, somehow. 5 lords who fear their kids. Wait, Labour are messing up their comms. Well, I'm utterly surprised, says Jazz. Yeah, but what I'm saying, Jazz, this isn't quite the same. What's happening with the Hillsborough Law? They were going to vote on it on Monday this week, and they have postponed it because of an issue. They were going to bring in an amendment to deal with this issue, but then MPs, up to 80 Labour MPs, rebelled and said we're not going to sign along with this. And particularly Ian Byrne, who's the MP for West Derby, Liverpool, who's obviously got a personal connection to the tragedy of Hillsborough. He has said no, we're not going to have this. So obviously talks are ongoing, but that's great. I mean, that's actually a really good thing that Labour are talking to their backbench MPs and not just railroading things through like what the Tories used to do without rhyme or reason or really thinking about the consequences. See, I think we've gone from one extreme to the other, haven't we? We've gone from like the Tories doing fucking anything they wanted and Labour being held back by an overabundance of caution. Same mistake that Biden made in the USA. Okay, so I think the delay is to pop when the public is more begging for the government, to be honest. One of the moving broadcasts I've ever heard was from Peter Jones on BBC Radio after the Hillsborough disaster. It was at 5 o'clock that afternoon, and they never played the sports report. Yeah. Still, I seem to remember that on that day, the first news on the fucking news at the 9 o'clock news, the BBC 9 o'clock news, wasn't Hillsborough. It was the second news story on that day. The first news story was about, I don't know, unrest in the Middle East or something. It's like, fucking hell. Our mayor of Salford has a senior GM role and would make a great metro mayor. Yeah. Says Mr. Tusk. Yeah. Could you imagine if what happened to Hillsborough happened at Ascot or Cheltenham? Imagine like nearly 100 toffs getting killed all in one place. Do you think the newspapers would have been blaming them? Do you think that there would have been a cover-up by the police? Covering up what happened to these toffs in the big hats who died in a pavilion that went on fire or collapsed or something? Do you think that the government at the time would be covering it up? Do you think these journalists would be putting on the front cover stories, fake stories about people urinating on the dead or stealing their wallets or all being drunk? Do you think? It was a fucking class thing. And because football is still, to a certain extent, the game of the working class, they thought they could get away with it. Fucking bastards. The fact that no one's gone to jail for it is just fucking mind-blowing. So all we're going to get is this duty of candour I don't want it watered down, but I do understand that there will have to be some amendments, some exception made for ongoing national security reasons. Also, the Hillsborough Act wasn't whipped vote, says Polly Donkey. I don't think it needs to be whipped. I don't know. Due to not receiving a bronze swimming medal in school 40 years ago, I've now decided that I shall not be swimming, no matter how many bricks are under the water I find mysteriously in pajamas nearby. Save the brick! Are you going to invade Greenland instead, Jez? Yeah. Don't get that brick. Invade Greenland. Go get the brick and use it to invade Greenland. It's the same with Grenfell, all covered up and nothing being done to hold those accountable. Yeah, Chris C. Now imagine that had been a fucking palace with a load of toffs in it. You know, with the royals. One fucking royal in a building that went on fire because the contractors put fucking flammable cladding on it. You know, if Princess Catherine had fucking died of smoke inhalation. Do you think it would take 10 fucking years for anything to happen? It's a class thing. You know, the upper class are protected from crime like none of the rest of us are. And they are protected from the consequences of their own crimes like none of the rest of us are. You're absolutely right. Yeah, same with Grenfell. Peter Jones, the sport commentator, died while covering the 1990 boat race. Many think he never recovered from the trauma of Hillsborough, says Colin. Jesus. And he's and I can't read that out loud, mate. Come on, be sensible. Okay, so we're gonna go now. I'm gonna go have some breakfast. Not any breakfast. Do some breakfast. So I'm gonna go now, and I'll be back in about 1 hour and 45 minutes time for the Prime Minister's questions. So please join us for that. And until then, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Oh, we've got some more messages here. I read Grenfell is being demolished this week. Yeah. It's worse than that building upgrades have been implemented on problem cladding, but it's the residents who are footing the bill. Disgusting. Yeah. If it was the rich, they'll get fucking subsidies. They get subsidies for fucking everything else. And my mum says, bye everyone, have a good day. Oh, thanks, mum. You have a great day as well. You have a great day. And in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Give us a like on the way out. We like a like. You know, it's always good to get a like now and again in your life. Like up your life, as they say. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, you are very welcome to do so. That would be absolutely awesome. And do you know what else if you can think of doing if you are going to be very, very, very kind, apart from subscribing, you can actually join the channel. And then you get a little rose after your name. See, all these people got roses after their names. Cool, isn't it? Do you want a rose? Of course you want a rose. Join the channel today. It's only a few quid a month. Go on, do it. Do it. You know you want it. Okay, I'll see you in a bit. And until 12 o'clock, don't forget, Prime Minister's questions. 6 o'clock, rabbit hole. See you then. Until then, hello, good evening, welcome, and